Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Linda from lindaspapercraft.co.uk and today we are on card 2 of December 2024's Coffee and Card, and we're using the Under the Moon stamp set today. And again, thanks to Liz Shannon for the idea of using the Country Woods paper as a background with this stamp. So it's the second card I've done using this as a background. And on this one I'd made it into a sympathy card. However, this set, which is from Charming Sentiments, is currently packed away in a class, so I can't use that. So I'm pulling out another really useful stamp set, which is in the main catalogue, called Best Family Ever. It's got all your relatives on, but also it's got You're in My Thoughts, which is what I'm going to use on the card today. Okay, other additional items is I'm using the 2 3/8 punch, circle punch, which we've used a couple of times in Coffee and Card, so I know most of you have got this. If you haven't, so a 2 3/8, 2 1/2, even 2 1/4 punch or die, circular die, would work equally well. Okay, and I'm just wondering if I used it on both or whether that is slightly smaller. Nope, they are both 2 3/8. Right, okay, so in your kit you will have a thick basic white card base, which is half a sheet of A4, so you cut it in half at 14.85 and then score from the long side at 10.5 to make your card. Use the thick Whisper White, basic white. Oh, that's a blast from the past, isn't it, Whisper White? The normal Stampin' basic white is too thin, so use the thicker one. Okay, and then you've got a piece of designer series paper, which is 14.4. She says, yes, 14.4 by 10 centimetres, and I'm just going to glue that on now. I love the other side. These Country Woods papers, I am on my second pack. I did do a Country Woods class, so in my defence, but I do love this paper. It's so flexible, and then some sides of it look like the sea. Okay, so I'm just going to pop that on the front there. And then pop it one side. Okay, so then I have my envelope and then a piece of normal basic white, which we're going to do all our stamping on. Okay, so I am going to start now with this one. Find the actual card. I stamped my sentiment and then trimmed around it, but this one, because it's a long thin one, I'm going to work out how wide it is, cut a thin strip, stamp it, and then trim to length. So using my paper, I'm thinking that probably a 2 centimetre, which is 4 of these squares, will be too wide, so I'm going to go for a 1.5 centimetre strip. And I'm just going to chop that off the bottom here. Now, when you are using to be fair, anything less than about 3.5, I would use this scale here. So, because then you've got most of your card here. So I'm going for 1.5 centimetres strip. And then I'm going to stamp my sentiment. Okay. So the inks I've used as well, so I'm using Night of Navy for my sentiment, and today I'm using Smoky Slate. No, Grey Granite. On the original one I used Smoky Slate. Okay, so let's just... I'm just going to pop that on my grid paper so it's straight. So you can buy the grid paper from the catalogue. It's really useful, and it's a lovely smooth surface to stamp on as well. So stamp the sentiment and then line it up straight as you can. There we go. There we go. One of Liz Shannon saying is straight is overrated when it comes to sentiments. So if it's a bit skew, it's a bit skew. It's fine. So, okay. And then I'm just going to use my, this is because I like all my sides to be parallel. So, and all my friends are going, really, Linda? Really, you do? Yes, yes, you know I do. Right, so I'm just going to position that at an angle, and so that the bottom of the Y is lined up on this side of the gap. Hold that nice and tight and slip that off. So there you've got one angle. Then what you want to do to get the same angle is you need to line that up parallel with one of these lines, okay? And then that line will be the same. So I'm just going to, actually that lines up beautifully there. So, okay. So, and I'm just going to do the same, and then there you go. You've got a lovely even banner there. Okay, and this one is going to go sort of at the bottom there, rather than the deepest sympathy, which is from the Charming Sentiments. So, no, it's not. Is it from Charming Sentiments or is it something special? It's one of those. Right. Okay, so let's do the rest of our stamping. So we've got that. I shall pop that there. So, and I was talking to someone about, Denise, a friend of mine, about starting up at Papercrafting and what you need, and we decided you need a really good trimmer, some really good scissors, and a few circle punches. And do you know, obviously inks and stamps, but on the equipment list you can do a lot. So she's made some snowmen out of chocolate bars using her trimmer and a few circle punches. So there's our moon. And then I'm going to do my C, which is in Night of Navy. So I'll pop this across the bottom here. There we go. So I've done it right to the bottom because I'm going to do it slightly over here as well so it can fit it in. I've done that a bit low. I'd do it a bit higher if I were you. As always, do as I say, not as I do. That did not stamp very well. Do I? Let's see if we can get it. See if we can fix it. So I'm just lining that up again as best I can. I think there's no ink on those bits. No, there isn't. How bizarre. I'm going to have to start again on the other side. Right, okay, let's start again. So make sure your stamp is fully inked. I think, do you know, I'm going to clean it because I think there's some bubbles behind it and that often can cause, yes there is, there's quite a few bubbles behind the stamp. So I am going to lift it from this side and really press it down to get rid of the bubbles, and then do the same from the other side. Okay, see, you can tell I just flung it on this morning. Okay, right, so we'll use the emergency other side. See, I make these mistakes so you don't have to. And we're going to start with this one this time. Okay, and just stamp that towards the bottom. There we go, that's better. So although if I was being pedantic, I haven't got the top line straight. Just see a little, yeah. It's only a little bit, it'll be fine. And then I'm going to take my grey granite and I'm actually going to stamp my clouds twice. So a little bit up from the waterline, and I'm just going to, and I'm not re-inking between. So I don't know if you can see there, so there's a lighter set of clouds there. Then while I've got my grey granite, I will re-stamp the moon. This time a bit further up and off to that side. go. Then I'm going to stamp my boat and we are done. Put away the grey granite. Stamp a little boat in the Night of Navy. I'm just going to stamp it just into the water, very slightly. And there we are. Just stands beautifully against the background. I love the little ripples underneath as well that you can see. Right, so that's all the stamping. I didn't write anything on the inside because I thought, or stamp anything on the inside. I thought you could just fill that in. So, punch. I know I've got it because I've shown it, yeah. Here it is. Right, so I'm going to do this one first. Okay, so there's just a little border around the moon. So once you're happy, I'm just holding it with the punch. I'm happy with that position. So I'm going to punch it out. And then we want to decide where we want to punch. I've got it sort of with the boat in the middle there. There we go. Okay. Panicked there. That's the other side, isn't it? There we go. Right, so we're just going to put all this together now. So I tend to like that bit as the top of the moon because there seems to be more detail. No idea whether that's astronomically correct or not. Okay, so probably there and there, and then in my thoughts at the bottom there. So let's do that one first. So just have a hunt round in your stash for a sentiment that you think goes with this card. And as I say, there's quite a lot of spare space on that piece of white card I've given you. You might want to die cut it out, or cut round it like I've done today. So it's up to you. Right, pop this one on. There. And then I've added the boat piece on dimensionals. Got a few here. It's quite a big area, so I tend to put sort of 4 or 5 on. And do sort of one in the middle. And pop those on. And there we go, so that's card number 2. Yeah, put it there. How beautiful is that? I just love the way it blends into that background. It's gorgeous, isn't it? So, hope you've enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week. Bye.